Well, we found that many military wives and their husbands communicate in extremes, whether it be before, during, or after a deployment. So, for example, before a deployment happens, sometimes couples close off from one another. In particular, the wives would shut down and distance themselves from their husbands and not talk about important issues or, again, just interact with them at all. And so, again, they're communicating in extremes. During the deployment, their patterns become such, in some similar ways, but over different issues, they can go into the extremes. So, in one respect, some of the couples sometimes create separate lives, and so they don't communicate enough in some ways. So the wife will become, again, a single parent, or they will, again, start to kind of create their own life separate from their husband. And then other couples, they communicate so much that they're putting stressors on one another in terms of dealing with the deployment because they're thinking about what's going on with the other partner in the other place too much because they're revealing and sharing too much information. And so that can become a struggle between, maintaining their separate lives but also trying to stay connected. Some husbands come home and they don't want to talk about what happened to them while they were deployed because these are very stressful situations, and in some ways they can't talk about what happened because for security reasons, and so they shut off from their wives and don't tell them things that their wives might want to know, and vice versa, right? The wives sometimes don't want to listen to what happened to the soldier for fear that they'll deploy again, and then they'll have to worry about some of those same things that their husband told them about in the future. And the military is affecting how you're communicating. They have a lot, especially during the deployment, they have a lot to say about how you communicate, when you communicate, and how frequently you're able to communicate. So trying to remember that your communication, when your husband calls you or when your wife calls you isn't always their choice, and that the military is impacting when they're able to contact you and have conversations. And then finally, to seek help. So many military families don't seek the help that's available to them, and there's so many more resources available now than even were available at the beginning of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. So, making sure to seek out help through the Family Readiness Center. There's so many different things that you can get through them: financial advice, help with your children, and advice about how to manage your marriage.